Welcome everyone to have a special guide for the summoners for Path of Exile 2. Now looking behind me, what we're watching is actually my previous video, Tier 15 Double Corrupted map. And in this video, there may be some mechanics and also rotations and also skill choices and also future improvements you might not be aware of. For example, in fighting bosses, there may be some weapons that will dramatically increase your damage against the boss, while there may be other weapons that can help you survive. So in this video, we'll be looking into the damage and also the calculations and also plannings towards in diving deeper into the mechanics behind the summoners build in the endgame. And my friend Dramkast has been discussing with me, and I want to share with you guys the future update of this build for even stronger late game, for more damage, more survivability, and also more variants that you can look into. And at the same time, I want to prepare you guys for the choices of weapons that you can have on your character. For example, when should you go for Malice, when should you go for Disciple, and when should you go for Skeleton Warriors? You shouldn't just think about you only want Skeleton Warriors, because there are drawbacks with Skeleton Warriors as well, with bad AI, and also sometimes they're very clustered, they will block the Arsonist. I have done some calculations in terms of critical damage and also critical bonuses for those particular mechanics, and yes, we have a variant that I'll share with you guys, but this will be updated tomorrow once we get more footages and do some more testing to show you guys the higher damage setup for the current build for tier 15. And at the end of the video, we'll briefly discuss what are the gears that can greatly enhance your damage as a summoner, especially a Skeleton Arsenal summoner, that you can go for 6 links, you can go for 20 quality, you can also go for item with enchanted spirits together with maximum minion level, and also item with maximum minion level +3. So I'll also share the links of everything we look at this one to prepare you guys to look at the mechanics of the summoner for the endgame, dealing even high damage, and also be prepared for those items that you can get into as you get into the endgame. Now firstly, coming over to the replay we shot today in the tier 15 video. Some of you might have noticed my friend is not having Skeleton Warriors, and you might be wondering what sort of weapon base he's using, and also at the same time, how is he doing so much damage against the boss. So the first part of the video, let's come over to my character. Yes, I have tested off some of those weapons in comparison with the Skeleton Warrior ones, and also a different base with Malice. Let's briefly have a look at this weapon and why is it potentially stronger in enhancing your Skeleton Arsonist's damage. So those are the free buffs that will be granted. Notice Skeleton Warriors are free, and also the Malice here is also free. And look at that, you can also socket that in. And this is actually a free spell, similar to the Skeleton Warriors that does not cost reservation, which you have free summons. With Malice, you have a free aura, and this aura actually applies critical weakness. So what is critical weakness is that this will increase the critical chance of enemy take, so they have higher chance of getting critical hit by up to 20 stacks, which will give 10% higher critical chance if I'm understanding this correctly. And this stacks over time. So if we come over back to the videos, so a lot of the misunderstanding with the skeleton summoners is that you want as much skeleton warriors as you can. And later you're going to see on the actual trade side, everyone's buying the skeleton warriors. But this might not have to be the case. So I want to explain when you can use all 3 of the different type of weapons, especially this one, which will greatly enhance your damage against the boss. Over time, you will debuff him with higher critical chance to allow your skeleton warriors, or not skeleton warriors anymore, skeleton arsonists to deal even higher damage over time as you debuff the boss. So what my friend was using in this video is he is actually using a weapon that is based on Malice, not the skeleton warrior. Because you guys can see he's not summoning skeleton warriors, and he does not have skeleton warriors in his build. And he can then socket in Malice for something like clarity and also other goodies that can provide him with a stronger aura that provide the whole team with higher damage. So the skeleton warrior does not enhance your skeleton arsonist, while this particular weapon base can enhance your skeleton arsonist. So this is a bigger take. If you want to scale your arsonist, and if you want to invest first into a 6th link skeleton arsonist, you may want to consider transitioning into a weapon that is not the skeleton warrior. Yes, skeleton warrior is a big matter, and they are usually more expensive, and I'll show you guys the filter over here. You can see this is the +5 of the scepters. 100 Exile for the Disciple one, those are the cheapest, 150 for the Malice ones, and also then the Skeleton Warriors are 250. They are dramatically overpriced, and I don't want you guys to invest in something in the late game that you don't know the difference between them. I'm not saying they're bad, guys. Yes, good skeleton warriors, they're pretty high level. You can sacrifice them, they can tank, they can do a lot of things. They're not bad, but you need to understand that other ones can be great for damage too. Now, while looking at the scepters, I also do recommend you guys to try to look for scepters like this one. So I have bought two just to compare. One has base stats which are flat damage, but there is a problem with the flat damage like lightning and also cold damage. If you look at my skeleton arsenals, I'm using fire infusion. A text that is not often read here is support attacks deal 50% less cold and also lightning damage. And this means flat elemental damage that is cold and lightning is getting 50% damage reduction because I'm using this gem. Yes, in the future build, we'll look into a variant that doesn't use this gem, so you can benefit on the flat damage, which can greatly enhance your build. But what I recommend is look for something that increases your critical bonus if you're going with a Matter Scepter. And of course, if you're looking for something that also provides you with attack speed, it's always good. Because having more attack speed means your skeleton warriors are attacking through the firewalls, and this enhances their fire damage, which is the whole build. The build revolves around dealing additional fire damage with curses, with additional bonus fire damage, bonus fire penetration, with more attack speed, with more goodies that enhance your fire damage. So more attack speed, more critical chance, more critical damage are some of the FXs you might want to look for after finding your +3, +4, and also bonus spirit, of course. Now that we had a look at the Mallet Scepter, you guys might be wondering, hey Matt, what about the Disciple Scepter? Well, the Disciple, it's not Disciple, right? It's Discipline, oh boy. You guys must be facebumming, it's like Disciple. The Discipline Scepter will provide you with bonus energy shield, which will help you survive and help the team survive a little bit, which is not a big deal. Your skeleton minions have way more health than you to make use of that. And this goes up by about 200-ish. And this can also be amplified with things like Clarity for more mana regen. But it's really good. For our build, this will be around bonus 200 mana. But what is really 200 mana to do? Usually a weapon that has some FXs will have mana, and sometimes those weapons will have FX with like 175 mana. So I don't really feel that the discipline one is that worth it. This is why the market reflects this. So look at the high-end gears, 100 Exile, some are selling 150, which is overpriced. The other ones are selling for much higher, 150 and also 200, 250. The Disciple ones are the ones you make yourself tankier by having more energy shield or mana with mind over matter, because becomes mana, you tank up with mana. But in terms of survivability and also utility with skeletons, it is by far the weakest out of the 3 scepters you can have. So my final summary for the recommendation is that if you like to run in skeleton warriors, I'm not going to stop you. It is a little more expensive, and right now it is the meta. That means you're paying 100 to 200 more exalt in the endgame for a good stat on the skeleton warriors. But that said, they have utilities. You can spike them, you can sacrifice them for rituals. It's a little harder to click onto them, and sometimes they will die in the front lines. But if you get to sacrifice them for rituals instead of your skeleton arsenals, they are still good. I have started to curve into manas because I did some calculations, and by the looks of it, you can start to curve into manas as you gain higher critical chance and also higher critical damage. And as you get higher and also higher, it seems to be scaling pretty well. At the start, if you look at my character, at the moment, I am not the highest in terms of critical chance, only 5.65 with a 62% critical bonus. So this is not going to be the highest, but if I take this off, it's even weaker. So here we have 5.65 and also 50%. So what I'm planning to do is, in the next video, which I'm still working on and I will be testing, is that we'll be looking to perking into a lot of increased critical chance nodes, critical damage nodes, critical chance nodes that to help you to deal the highest damage, to rush down bosses, or to clear harder content that has a damage requirement, or sometimes you just hit harder and you die less because you skip the mechanics. So yes, again guys, I'll have all the filters of all of those items available. And before I finish with those items, I'll recommend searching for something that is a little bonus, like allies with more attack speed, allies with more damage is okay, but allies with more attack speed and also allies with more critical hit chances are not bad. You can go with critical damage too. And yes, the fire damage is also good. If you can find fire damage, they're pretty good for your skeleton minions, but those are more expensive. So usually I recommend going with more attack speed or something that is a little more if you can afford. Now, briefly going through some of the other ways you can become stronger in the game. Of course, if you look at my items, you can see that some of those items have qualities. So the bigger difference is this is 133 spirit. Look at the top. This is 148 spirit because it has 12 quality. And this one has 136 spirit. So the one with quality is actually having high spirit, and you should always consider the increase in the quality of your scepters. Those things, the Arcanist Etchers, they cost about 1 exalt for 5 of those. And remember, we made a video just before this to teach you guys how to get those and how to trade. Notice I'm already filling up to my testing sections to trade those. So you can trade those, and I have been buying them for 1 for 5 exalt. 1 for 4 exalt is more expensive, 1 for 5 is not bad, and you can slam onto those for even higher spirit should you need the additional spirit to go over the next threshold. So if I put this on, if I'm just missing the next threshold, I will click this, but notice that I'm 11 short. That might not be enough because the next 8% will give me 8 spirit. But if I'm putting this on and I'm about, how many? So about 4. So that means I probably won't even use the quality because I know getting 30, actually getting 20, 20 quality won't do much at 24. So those are the bigger difference. Now that you understand how to min and max your spirit, the next thing you want to do is you want to look at what is going to be the biggest investment for your resource to give you the highest damage boost. If you're running Skeleton Arsonists, which most of us are, you can use my trade filters to search for this. So how I want to search it, I'm searching for 5 links. I'm not searching for corrupted. You can also search for corrupted, but do be careful. If it's corrupted, sometimes it has -1 level. This is bad. Even if it's 20 quality, -1 level is very bad. And sometimes if it's corrupted, it does not have quality. That means that's also bad. So I'm actually not searching corrupted because that is very bad. You can corrupt it yourself to try your own luck, but don't buy the corrupted ones unless you know what you're doing. Once you bought the 5 links, you can increase your quality and dramatically increase your damage. So my filter for you guys will not have corrupted items, just so you guys don't buy the wrong items. After that, you can look into a corrupted helmet with bonus spirit. A lot of people don't know this. If you're short on spirit, you can get a bonus helmet. You can get a +1. The maximum you can get on the helmet is a +2 minion summons. And thank you for Dramkast for explaining this to me. I was like, why can't I find a +3? It's like, there's no +3. So +2 minions plus 28 or 30 maximum spirit, that is doable. How do you get maximum spirit on the helmet is by corrupting it. But be careful, once you corrupt this one, once you buy the corrupted item, if it doesn't have quality, if it doesn't have socket, it cannot be altered. What you get, what you see is all you get. So that is a bigger cake. You got to remember that when you're buying corrupted items. Next up, you can look into the amulets, and those will help you greatly because they also have a tag. So this is the minion tag, right? The best ones are coming with the minion tag and also the spirit tag. Now, I'm not expecting you guys to have the best items because they'll be ridiculously expensive, but just have a look at what is available. Again, I'm not going to show you guys this filter because there's no one's going to, I bet someone might buy that. You can potentially get spirit on top, spirit on the bottom, +3 minion skills, and that is pretty good. But is it really worth 200 more exalt? I do not think so, at least personally. So my filter for you guys, which will be available, is around just +3 minion skills. And then you can try to buy something like this. Actually, this is really good. I'm going to buy that. You can try to buy something like this, use Exalted Orbs and also Chaos Orbs to try to get the Spirit Roll. The Chaos Orb is risky because you might remove the mini ones. But if you get lucky, you get the Spirit Roll, then all of a sudden it worth so much. Let me see if it's still selling. Probably it's not selling anymore. So ideally, when shopping for items, you actually want to find something with less FXs. That means potentially you can make it stronger yourself. So this is also a massive takeaway. Okay, just so you guys know, this one is not selling for 15. It's selling for 80. I was like, I'll pass. Just so you guys know. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Similar to all the videos, I'm not only making the videos, I want to help you guys plan for your future endgame because we have tested endgame. And even though I'm not in endgame, I help my friends to achieve stronger builds in the endgame. And this way I can have the foresight, have the planning for you guys to see what you can plan into and to have the options to understand those items. Again, guys, I don't recommend you buy this one. I think it's actually not bad buying Malice because it's cheap. It gives your minions damage. But again, it is the meta to Skeleton Warriors. So you have 2 options over there. I'll also share this calculation with you guys. I don't think I did everything correctly, and if you guys are good with Excel, you can let me know in the direct message on Discord, and let's craft a good calculation Excel for the skeleton arsons. And yes, just a sneak teaser for the future videos, I'll be updating the tier 15 endgame build with a damage variant. With a lot of critical chance, critical damage, we'll remove a little bit of the block rate, which we'll talk about that, and this will dramatically increase your damage, especially if you're using a melee scepter like me. I am moving towards a melee scepter. I'm planning to sell this +3 and start using this one. I think this one, yeah. I'll probably use the plus critical damage one. And I'm pretty excited for this. Just made this level 72. Oh boy, I make so many videos, I'm like a turtle. My goal is to play 10 maps a day. I'm gonna clear the map 3. Tomorrow I'll be tier 4. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Now before we finish, if you guys haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so, because I'll be looking into the latest Path of Exile 2 news on different communities and also on our official forum, official webpage. I'll also be looking into the best build for each of the class as the meta develops with the Chinese and also the English community. So stay tuned for the latest update and also guides for Path of Exile 2. And of course, this is gonna be a big month for us. And I'll try to bring you guys all of the latest content and also guides for Path of Exile 2 to come.